What is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Samoa Raider back at it again with another episode of Nation News. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about the possibility of the Raiders trading away Marcus Mariota to the team with no name. On top of that, it looks like we're going to be chucking up the deuces to Lamarcus Joyner because the Raiders might want to save some money. And last but not least, the Raiders might be interested in a young safety to come help out this defense because we desperately need it. But before I get started with this video, I want to give a huge shout out to these following 6 people: Silver and Black 57, Brian Dixon, JC Willie, Stumbling Upwards, Mike N, I don't want to butcher your last name so I didn't say it, and Dale Webb Jr. All 6 of these people are proud exclusive members of my YouTube channel, and I just want to recognize you guys and just say thank you. And if you guys are wondering how you guys can become exclusive members to my channel as well, then hit that join button down below right next to the subscribe button. And if it's not there for some apparent reason, then go on your desktop, on your computer, and it should be on my channel. I don't know why YouTube is tripping out like that, but they are. But with all that being said, let's get started with your Nation News.
And you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
So first up, let's talk about Mouse from another Seuss. It looks like my cousin Marcus has been getting some real interest from the team without a name. Now, that team being the Washington football team. Now, I'm sure that there's a wide open market for a lot of QB needy teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team out there that's ringing up the Raiders, asking them about the throwing Samoa Mr. Marcus Mariota. Now, apparently, Michael Lombardi of The Athletic came out and said that the Washington football team are very interested in Marcus Mariota. Now, not only that, he then went on to say that Marcus's problem is simply this: he's due to make $10 million this year. And if you trade him for that contract and you make him your starter, that contract turns into $20 million because he gets so many incentives in that contract. So it's going to be very challenging for you to trade him without redoing his contract. Now, basically what he's saying is if the Washington football team do trade for Marcus Mariota, they would have to restructure his contract in some way, especially if they wanted to bring him in as a starter, because he's going to make a lot of dough, especially due to all the incentives that he has in his current contract. Now, I believe it's really likely for the Raiders to move on from Marcus than it is for them to move on from Derek Carr, even with all the trade rumors going around. And as much as I hate to say it, especially because that's my cousin, the amount of money that Marcus would make in 2021 as our backup quarterback, I believe that his days in the silver and black are numbered. But looking at the bright side, in the only game that he actually played in 2020, he completed 60% of his passes for 226 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. On top of that, he rushed for 88 yards and had a rushing touchdown, which showed that he's still a reliable dual threat quarterback in the league. And I believe that he could bring in some value for this team, somewhere around a 3rd or at best maybe a 2nd round pick if some team is really needy. But realistically, I think somewhere around a 4th or 5th round pick, at best maybe a 3rd round pick, would be nice for Marcus Mariota. Now, looking at an article from Just Blog Baby, they put together 3 trade packages that would send Marcus Mariota to the Washington football team and return what the Raiders would get. Option number 1, the Raiders would trade away Marcus Mariota, a 2021 6th round pick, and return would get a 2021 3rd round pick. Option number 2, the Raiders would trade away Marcus Mariota just by himself and return would get a 2021 4th round pick. And option number 3, the Raiders would trade away a 2021 5th round pick and Marcus Mariota, and return would get a 2021 4th round pick and defensive end Matt Ioannidis. These are some solid trades, and I believe they're more realistic than what I said earlier. But I believe if we were to get somewhere upwards of a 3rd round pick, I believe that's a win for the Raiders, and the Raiders should pull the trigger on that. Now, Raider Nation, would you trade Marcus Mariota away to the Washington football team? And if so, for what price? Drop it down in the comments below and let your boy know. Now, next up on Nation News, it looks like Lamarcus Joyner might be joining Tyrell Williams in the unemployment line this offseason. According to Vic Tafer, he says that there is no way that Lamarcus Joyner will be playing in the silver and black in 2021. Now, Lamarcus Joyner would be making $9.6 million in 2021, and if the Raiders went on and cut him, that would save $8.7 million in cap space, and according to my calculations, we'd save a lot of money. Now, this move does make a lot of sense, especially if you're just looking at his production in the past couple of years, ever since he's been a part of the silver and black. And in 2 seasons with the Raiders, he only tallied 111 tackles, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions, and only 8 pass deflections. But how much of that struggle is because of Paul Guenther as a defensive coordinator? I would say a lot. Now, when we initially signed him to that 4-year, $42 million contract, he was one of the best safeties on the market. And you would think that the Raiders would actually bring him in and use him as a safety, but no, they thought that they could use him as a slot corner, which didn't end well for Lamarcus Joyner in these past 2 seasons. And according to PFF, Joyner was the 89th best corner in 2020, and that's out of 121 players. That's not really good. Now, there's only 2 ways to go about this. We either cut Lamarcus Joyner and save the money, or we keep him on for a year or 2 and put him at the safety position and see what he can do under Gus Bradley. Now, if you were to ask me, I believe that we should move on from Lamarcus Joyner and go and sign somebody out in free agency or get somebody in the draft to replace him. Now, what would you do, Raider Nation? Keep or cut Lamarcus Joyner? And last but not least, on your Nation news, the Raiders could be interested in Marcus Williams. Now, as you all know, our defense was bad, like really bad in 2020. So it comes to no surprise that many people expect the Raiders to go defensive heavy this offseason, whether it's in the NFL draft or in free agency. In this case, one potential name that the Raiders might be interested in is safety Marcus Williams. In a recent article by PFF, they named the Raiders the most likely team to sign Marcus Williams in free agency, and they would sign him for a 4-year, $57 million contract, which would make him the highest paid safety in the NFL. Now, that is a lot of money, especially knowing that the Raiders budget is real tight, but it would be worth it, especially if we utilize them right in this defense. Now, PFF's explanation for this move was the Raiders will be in the market for a fresh new safety to play a single high safety role in Gus Bradley's defense, and Williams, a West Coast native, is a prime candidate for that job. Williams has established himself as one of the top cover safeties in the game since he entered the league as a 2nd-round pick out of Utah in 2017. He has earned the 4th best PFF grade at the position over the past 4 years. And looking at this on paper, Williams would fit Gus Bradley's system perfectly as that single high safety. And in the last 4 years, he's had 30 pass breakups and 13 interceptions. Now, this would definitely solve one of the biggest problems on the Raiders defense: the secondary. Now, it's only one of the positions, but it is a step in the right direction. Now, he's young, he's talented, and he would be a perfect scheme fit on this defense, which is why I believe that he would cost so much in free agency. Now, considering the price and his potential, especially being the highest paid safety in the NFL, if we were to pay him that much, would you pursue Marcus Williams? If so, let me know down in the comments below. And if not, let me know who else you guys would go and pick up at the safety position, whether it's in a draft or in free agency. All right, Raider Nation, that is all I have for you guys today on this episode of Nation News. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. And again, if this is the first time you guys are watching this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button just to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this one. And if you guys want to be an exclusive member to the channel, then don't forget to hit the join button down below as well. Until the next video, Raider Nation, this is your boy Small Raider, and your boy is Yow.
And you tell them one thing: just win, baby.